I was 8 years old the first time the sky broke open above our town. No one else remembers it that way. Official records call it a localized meteorological disturbance, a rare auroral event visible only for 6 minutes. The news replayed grainy footage of strange lights and then moved on. People forgot, but I didn't. Because at night, something came down from the sky and landed in the abandoned wheat field behind my grandfather's house. And it wasn't a storm. I had slipped out of bed after midnight, barefoot, following the low humming sound that vibrated through the air like a distant choir. The moonlight shimmered oddly, bending around a silver object resting among flattened stalks. It wasn't large, no bigger than a truck, but it looked alive, its surface shifting like liquid metal. A hatch unfolded silently, and she stepped out. She looked almost human. Almost. Her skin shimmered faintly, like pearl beneath water. Her eyes were too large, too luminous, glowing softly with violet light. Long hair, pale as starlight, drifted around her head as if gravity had forgotten her. She was shaking. I remember thinking she looked scared. I remember thinking I should help her. "Hi," I said, because 8-year-olds have no sense of cosmic danger. She turned toward me, eyes widening. She spoke words I didn't understand, musical and sharp at the same time. Then she stopped, frowned, and touched something at her throat. A moment later, she tried again. "Hello, human child." Her voice echoed strangely, as if layered with others. "My name is Lyra," she said. I told her mine. She told me she was lost. I told her my grandfather had tools and food and blankets. So I brought an alien girl home. For 3 days, Lyra hid in the old barn while her ship repaired itself. I brought her water and bread and told her stories about school and cartoons and the planet Earth. She listened like every word mattered. She asked questions that felt too big for a child to answer. Why do humans form bonds? Why do they promise things they cannot ensure? Why does loss hurt? On the 3rd night, she told me she had to leave. "I may never return," she said quietly. "Our paths are not meant to cross again." I felt my chest tighten in a way I didn't yet have words for. So I said the first thing that came to mind. "Then when we grow up," I said, trying to sound brave, "we should get married. That way you'll have to come back." She stared at me, eyes shining. "Is that a promise?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "I promise." She stepped forward and placed her hand over mine. Her skin was warm. "In my culture," she said slowly, "a promise spoken with intent binds a soul." I laughed, because 8-year-olds don't understand destiny. She didn't laugh back. When she left, her ship rose silently into the sky and vanished between the stars. By morning, the field was empty. Years passed. I grew up, and I forgot. I was 26 when Lyra came back. By then, I was an engineer working at a deep space communications array on the edge of the desert. I lived alone. I believed in science, not childhood fantasies. The memory of the alien girl had faded into something dreamlike, something I assumed my imagination had invented to cope with loneliness. Then every screen in the control room went black at once. Alarm screamed, and a voice echoed through the facility, calm, melodic, unmistakably familiar. "Human designated. Name. Please present yourself. Our contract is due." The sky outside split open, not with light, but with absence, a vertical tear in reality itself. From it descended a massive vessel, elegant and terrifying, dwarfing the entire complex. Armed personnel rushed in, shouting orders. Satellites went dead. Power grids failed across 3 continents. And I stood frozen because I already knew who had come for me. They escorted me outside at gunpoint. The ship lowered a beam of shimmering energy, and she stepped out of it, taller now, radiant, adorned in flowing armor etched with symbols that pulsed with living light. Lyra. Her eyes met mine, and she smiled. "You grew," she said softly. My knees nearly gave out. You're real," I whispered. "I always was," she replied. Then her expression hardened, turning regal, commanding. "And so is your promise." Before I could speak, she knelt before me, before cameras, soldiers, the entire world watching via emergency broadcast, and lowered her head. I, Lyra of the Aurelian Concord, heir to the stellar throne, have returned to claim the bond sworn in childhood. The world stopped breathing. The next word shattered it. My husband. Within hours, Earth was surrounded by alien fleets. Within days, I was taken from my planet. Middle, a promise written in blood and stars. Lyra's empire was older than human civilization itself. The Aurelian Concord spanned hundreds of systems, ruled not by conquest, but by ancient laws sealed through bonds, oaths, and ritual. Lyra was not merely a princess. She was the designated successor to the Empress, and because of a promise made by a child, I had been bound into that succession. I learned the truth aboard her flagship, a city-sized vessel that hummed with restrained power. Lyra explained everything with painful honesty. Her species evolved around resonance, emotional, psychological, spiritual. Their technology responded to intent. Their laws were enforced not by armies, but by reality itself. A promise, spoken sincerely, created a bond. A bond created authority. My childhood vow had been recognized by the Concord's living archives the moment it was spoken. They had waited for me to mature, for her to return, for the bond to activate. Many opposed it. Nobles challenged me. Generals mocked me. Priests tested me with trials meant to break my mind. Each time, the bond responded. Systems obeyed me. Ancient construct awakened at my command. I wasn't powerful because I wanted to be. I was powerful because the universe recognized a promise. Lyra stood beside me through it all. Not as a conqueror, but as a partner. "I did not come to take your freedom," she told me one night, standing beneath a transparent dome filled with stars. "I came because you gave it willingly, long before you understood what it meant." I asked her why she hadn't forgotten. She touched her chest. "Because I chose not to." Ending. The future we chose together. The final challenge came not from within the Concord, but from beyond it. An extragalactic force, drawn by the activation of the bond, emerged from dark space. A civilization that devoured stars, erasing entire systems. The Concord had avoided them for millennia, but now they were coming, and they wanted me. Because the bond between Lyra and me had created something unprecedented, a hybrid authority, human adaptability fused with Aurelian resonance. Together, we were something new, something dangerous. The enemy demanded my surrender. Lyra refused. So did I. The war lasted 7 days. On the 8th, we ended it, not with weapons, but with a promise. Standing at the heart of the flagship, Lyra and I joined hands and spoke words that echoed across dimensions. We pledged not dominance, but unity. Not destruction, but connection. The enemy, beings who had never known bonds, fractured under resonance. Their fleets collapsed, their consciousness scattering like ash in solar wind. When it was over, the Concord knelt, not to Lyra alone, but to us. I was offered immortality, command of fleets, the power to reshape galaxies. I refused most of it. Instead, I chose something simpler. A life, a future, together. Years later, Earth joined the Concord, not as a subject, but as a partner. Humanity stepped into the stars guided by a lesson learned the hard way. That words matter, that promises echo, that even something spoken by a child beneath a broken sky can rewrite the fate of empires. Sometimes, late at night, Lyra and I stand beneath unfamiliar constellations. She squeezes my hand and smiles. "You kept your promise," she says. And this time, I understand exactly what that means.